Morning, this is Brian. Today is Saturday, April 13th, 2019. I'm in the San Bernardino Mountains, in San Bernardino National Forest. Today, kind of have a small, kind of random peak planned for today. I have just come up from Highway 18. Well, I drove up the 330, turns into Highway 18. Then I came north up this road here called Green Valley Lake Road, which is just past the community of Arrowbear. And I'm getting ready to hike up this Forest Service Road 2N19. Gonna hike up this for a while, and then I'm gonna take a left on another dirt track up towards a water tower, and at a water tower around that area is when I'm gonna turn right and head east cross country up to this peak that's supposed to have a benchmark on it. It's supposed to be called Green Benchmark. Peak's 7,322 feet in elevation, and I don't believe that it receives a lot of notice or visitation. It is quite a random peak that I don't think a lot of people know about, at least that I know of. So I'm gonna hike up to that today. Let's see how much bushwhacking I have to do. Looking at Google Earth is it shows me that there's a section between the water tower and the peak that has a lot of chaparral growth, and so I might have to do some bushwhacking and stuff, and definitely some rock scrambling. Looks like there are definitely rocks at the top of the peak, so I'll have to definitely get ready to scramble again. Last week I was on vacation and I did a lot of hiking, so I'm back at it again this weekend. I'm trying to hike as much as I possibly can, trying to get out there and have some fun, hike some peaks, enjoy myself. And it's been a good year so far. 2019's been an excellent year. Done some pretty cool peaks and some gnarly cross-country climbs. So apparently this road is on its seasonal closure. I mean, for hiking, I'm sure it's fine. I'm going to follow this. Looks like it's going to be more on a south-facing slope as opposed to a north-facing slope, so it might not be quite as lush as some of the other trails I've taken. It looked like there were quite a few trees still. A lot of coulter pines around here. This right here looks like a ponderosa. There are a lot of coulter pines. See some sugar pines. Definitely quite a few white firs. Like that one right there. That's actually a coulter pine. It's got the shape of a ponderosa, but it's definitely a coulter pine. Let's try to look at some of these cones here. See if I can get a good bearing on what kind of pine this actually is. Yeah, these cone prickles don't really stick out too far, but definitely has more of a yellow belly. Pardon me, I'm just doing the sniff test. I don't smell any vanilla coming out of this bark. Looks more like a ponderosa than a Jeffrey. Beautiful tree. Nice stout trunk. You can tell it's pretty mature because it's got the wide bark plates. Very beautiful tree. So this should be Pinus ponderosa variety pacifica, or Pinus ponderosa subspecies benthamiana, depending on which name you believe it is. But it has a nice looking ponderosa right there. Not exceedingly tall, though they do get pretty tall in these mountains here. One tree that does get very tall in these mountains, you'll see around here. Oh yeah, this is 4-wheel drive here. It's a pretty nice specimen. Again, not super duper tall, but definitely sticks out like a sore thumb when you're hiking. This is big sugar pine right here, Pinus lambertiana. This one's a pretty mature specimen. It's probably about 120, so it's not super tall. Its crown is flattened out, so it's not going to be putting up a lot more vertical growth, but it does have a pretty sizable trunk. So you can tell the tree, it's been in quite a few decades of growth. And like a lot of pines, the bark on more mature trees widens out to plates, though not nearly as wide as ponderosas or even Jeffreys, but you can see the little plates here where the furrows are. Gorgeous tree. And coulter pines, their bark really doesn't widen out to super plates. I mean, their bark plates don't get super wide. They get smaller plates when they reach a mature age, but their bark is usually a little thicker and more furrowed. But we're off to a beautiful start today. It's pretty nice here. I'm liking it. And the black oaks, if you go down below 5,000 feet, black oak trees are already starting to bud and leaf out. But here, we're about an elevation of 6,700 feet, and the oaks have not quite started budding out yet, which is to be expected. These trees leaf out quite a bit later than the others, the other deciduous trees. Like I said, today's April 13th, so probably towards the second half of the month they should start budding out. But it's a beautiful area. Open forest. Hey, here's a coulter pine right here. It's talking about bark plates and pines. While this is not a super old coulter pine, the cones are huge. They do get plates. Let me see if I can go around this without going crazy. Ooh, slippery here. Here's a coulter pine bark right here. They do form the plates. According to conifers of the world, they are in the ponderosa group. And I can see why. Their stature, their form, while not exactly the same as a ponderosa, a lot of times they develop multiple leaders. I do see the relationship in the bark. It's just the plates are not as wide as ponderosas and Jeffreys when they get older. Their bark is a little more rough and more furrowed with greater age. But, well, trying to take this up and see if I can find green benchmark today. Beautiful morning up here in the San Bernardino Mountains. Glad to be back here again. In the next video, who knows? I might be at my junction, or I might find something else along the way. But till then, I'm going to just enjoy these beautiful pines, firs, and oaks.